Steve, when we signed off last week, you were like, "You have April Fool's Day handled." Did I have it handled?
It was great.
Thank you,
So good.
thank you. I can go get the flag. Do you want me to go get the flag so that we can show that
I,
it's
s-
real?
I know. I saw you running with it.
I wanted to make sure people know slash knew that you could or maybe can, if you can find it on the website, because I don't think I fully deleted it properly. Buy those flags.
So will you bring it with you to
Yeah,
the blue white game or the football season?
it will be our new tailgate flag. At least one of our new
Nice.
it's yeah. A couple of people asked if they could burn them. That's okay, like completely acceptable.
Buy them first. Buy them
But yeah,
first
you
from
gotta
us
buy
and
it
burn them all you
first.
want.
No refunds. We're not like Costco. Um, but yeah, it's just so we'll save your idea for next year, which I think will still be appropriate next year, hopefully.
I'm sure it will
So,
be. Yeah.
anyways, name of this podcast that's always up to some shenanigans is called Stuff Summer Says with
Steve.
Steve. I said at the beginning of this interview that we did today, you better been on your best behavior. I think you were. Your pastor was on the podcast.
That's good.
You've wanted to have a conversation about religion and sports, and I thought this was a great time. You thought this was a good time, especially right after Easter. I thought it's a great conversation with Stacy Sublett, your pastor, who also has beyond the fact that he's Steve's pastor, also has sports related resume qualities that we can
Yeah.
discuss as well.
We talked through. So yeah.
You wanted to, well, you not you. We wanted to then discuss the blue white game information. You allegedly have something that you quote printed out related to the fourth quarter flag, and then we've just got a couple reminders and old guy young guy to get us out the door. Okay,
Cool.
all right. Take a listen to our interview with Stacy. We'll be back after this. Steve, you better be on your best behavior tonight.
Always.
Your pastor is here. Okay,
That is true.
That's true.
he's
But
There's only one more higher power than that in my household. So.
I don't know how much weight I have, but I do know that I think I've gotten the real Steve Samsel over wings and
I'm sure you
You
have.
probably have at this point. If you've known Steve for
Yeah.
5 days, you've gotten the real Steve Stansel. Our
which is
guest,
refreshing.
yes, it is. It is. Our guest tonight is Steve's pastor, but he is also uniquely positioned to also talk sports and religion. Stacy Sublett, thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending some time with us.
It's my pleasure.
Let's start there. What is your qualification? Maybe not necessarily on the religious side, but on the sports side of that equation, to
Mm.
being somebody that might be on a podcast to talk about sports and religion.
Been around sports, played sports all my life. Was a college baseball player, not a very good college baseball player. Um, in fact, my greatest and worst. My grandparents came to one college baseball game. I was playing at the illustrious Toccoa Falls College, um, which no one's heard of. We didn't win any baseball games my first year there. We were playing a junior college in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and my grandparents, it was close enough that they could drive over. They had not seen me play any baseball up to that point, and I thought we've got a shot because it's a junior college. We got off the bus, and my grandfather walked over and said, I hope y'all have some pitching because these boys hit the baseball. And I said, Pap, it's a junior college. How tough can? Turns out Spartanburg Methodist was a baseball school for all of the kids who didn't have grades to get into D1 schools, and 7 of those guys got drafted, and we lost 34-0 that day. I played 6 positions that day, and it was just brutal. 34-0
That's impressive.
in
That's
a baseball game.
That's impressive.
Did it go how many innings?
Oh, it was short. It was like 5 innings.
Okay.
Yeah, that was with the mercy rule applied. Yeah, it was humiliating. So I'm the chaplain for the Spikes. I've coached high school baseball in State College and in the big town of Derry, Pennsylvania. I play in the over 40 league right now in State College, and so I'm still playing baseball, but I've at different levels have different experience, but it's been fun.
When did you realize that you maybe wasn't worthy of a pursuit to go down the professional baseball route and maybe go into ministry?
Yeah, isn't that every kid's like if you're a baseball playing kid, everybody thinks, oh, someday. Um, Darren, I think it was when nobody called
Okay,
coming
that's
out of high
fair.
school. My dad was an umpire, and so all of his friends were umpires, and all of the umpires would say, "Six," that was my number in high school. "Six, you got such a sweet swing." It's like, well, I'm hitting about 240, so uh, I don't guess it matters how sweet your swing is if you don't hit the ball and get hits, nobody's going to call. And so nobody did. But yeah, it was in high school that I knew that God was saying, I have a different path for you. And I started to pursue that. And that's how I ended up playing baseball at a Bible college.
Is there, I guess when I envision talking about faith in sports, I'm curious from your perspective,
Yeah.
is there is there something that is appealing that athletes do, or is the most appropriate way to express their faith? I mean, I think it's very individual, but as you see things, are there things you're like, oh, they did that well, or oh, I don't know, like when you watch stuff, or do you have any cringe moments, like, oh man, that's not good for the whole thing, or do you like, oh, I'm glad they're expressing their faith that way?
Yeah. I think the easiest and most current, if you watch any wrestling, collegiate wrestling. Like those guys wear their faith on their. In fact, I think I heard Josh Barr, one of the Penn State guys, say the reason that I am standing here is so that I can tell people about Jesus. Which, hey, I think they do it about as well as I've seen it done. I think the part that's cringe for me, Steve, is when other behaviors don't line up with Christian behaviors, with faith behaviors that you spot the hypocrisy pretty easily. And everybody's human, everybody makes mistakes. I'm not saying you have to be perfect and have it all figured out to even talk about why it's important to you, but I think that's the cringe one of the cringe parts for me. I do think it always makes me laugh when I don't know what the guy's name, Shane, maybe the guy who does the post wrestling interviews,
Mhm.
he's
Yeah.
like, so tell me, like, really had to grind it out. Tell me about that last 30 seconds, that mad scramble at the end. And the guy starts talking about Jesus. It's like, it's got to be frustrating for the interview guy to say, I really wanted to know about the scramble at the end. And
Right,
you're
right, right.
talking about faith. Um, I don't know. I think, like you said, every sport's kind of different. I think it's been, for me as a man of faith, it's been fun watching more collegiate athletes talk about and be more verbal, more vocal about what that means in their lives. We've seen a lot of that with college football. Um, Connor Griffin the other day was like it was his big intro to the major league, and they were talking about 6 questions with Connor Griffin. What's your favorites, what are you going to eat this morning? And what are you, all this stuff. And one of the things they asked about was his walkout music. And he said, I picked a song that kind of talks about my faith. I think there are good ways to do it. I think they're tactful and ways that are relatable and I think, I don't know if they have guys who are, people who are coaching them on how to do that. Maybe they have people who've gone before. I know that there's a chaplain for every major league team. And maybe the chaplain says, hey, if you're going to talk about your faith, here's some ways that we've seen work, and here's some ways that don't. As the chaplain of the Spikes for 20 years, we've we've had some direction from Baseball Chapel as to how they want us to relate or not relate to the media and to players.
What is the role of religion in maturation and growth in an athlete? How does it fit into the process the way practicing a swing or practicing takedowns do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I heard it best explained by the Cardinals organization. The Spikes have been part of the Cardinals organization and the Pirates organization in the past. The Cardinals are, and well, both organizations are highly committed to Baseball Chapel, because they recognize that if guys are involved in some sort of faith building experience, it makes them better men, more well-rounded. It makes them more a better guy in the clubhouse, a better teammate. Better men make better teammates. Better teammates make better teams, and better teams win more games. I heard a guy talking about it today. You know Patrick Lencioni, Steve? You know that name?
I know the name.
He's a business, like coaches people on business practices, coming from a faith kind of background. He said he was talking to a man who coaches like elite athletes all around the world. And he said, I can tell you which team is going to win, no matter what the sport, no matter what the contest, no matter what the level. The team that loves each other most, best, is the team that's going to win. They just play better. And I think that's the part that the baseball chapel guys have hoped that having men involved in chapel is going to make them better men. So it is just as important to them for yeah, they got to get their swings, they got to get their reps in the field, they have to be nutrition, sleep, all of that stuff. But faith is a big part of life.
You mentioned the baseball chapel folks who talked about things that worked and didn't work. What kind of things have you been told through the years work, or did you found work or resonate with people?
Well, it's different at the level of the spikes because they were like baby entry point, very little. Well, the season's not as long, and there aren't as many cameras, and there aren't as many people watching these games. So I don't know if they get coaching. They do get coaching on how do you handle media, but they haven't talked to us about how do you help the spikes talk about their faith in the media or with fans, with guests. We did have some pretty pointed direction from baseball chapel for me, not for the players, but for me to stay out of the media. Don't talk to the press because it's not about you, and they don't need to know what happens in the clubhouse or what happens in chapel. It needs to stay in chapel. You know, you need to respect the player. If they want to talk about it, that's fine, but don't if for some reason a reporter wanted to know, hey, you're the chaplain, tell me about who's in chapel today and what did they say and all that. Don't, just to respect the player. It's his story to tell, not my story to tell. And so that's the only interaction that I've had. But I'm sure that they, and just like they would help them with post-game interviews, when they shove a camera in their face and a microphone in their, you just lost the biggest game of your life, how do you feel? They've got to help them prepare for that. And I would think that they would also do the same thing in terms of questions about faith.
For you, why do we gather around sports, or why do we gather around religion? And what's the shared bond between those two?
Well, that's a great question. The shared bond, I think it's for me, I think it's because the story that weaves through both of them. I mean, there are so many lessons for life that come from being part of a team that's trying to accomplish a goal. And those lessons translate to me being a dad, to me being an employee, and into my life of faith, working through adversity. Mike Steele was one of the early days Pirates pitching coaches assigned to the Spikes. And he was every bit the pastor that I ever was. His pitchers loved him and hated him because he would tell them up front, my job is to put you in situations where I know that you're going to fail and then coach you through it. So he would do things like say, okay, today, all you can throw is fastballs. Game day. You're going into a game and you can't throw off speed. You can't throw breaking balls. All you can throw is fastballs. And you have to, and by the third batter, the guys are going back to the opposing team's dugout saying, he's only throwing fastballs. Everybody knows. So they're looking for, and the guy comes, he gets beat up. And a lot of these guys have been the most successful guys on every team. They might not know how to deal with adversity. They might not have to, they may have never faced this before. So the lessons in life, I think, are so intertwined. I think that's the beauty of it for me, is I get to talk about how to handle those things from a spiritual perspective. The coaches get to handle, how do you apply this as a baseball player? But all in all, we're trying to shape men into being good men who are able to lead themselves well, lead others well. How do you can you be satisfied when the team does well if you went 0 for 3? If you didn't have your day and your numbers aren't up, can you still be satisfied if the team is doing well, or vice versa? Are you, the team got shellacked, but hey, I went 3 for 4, so it's not on, all of those things that make us better men. I think I'm sure that there's more to your question, Darian. That's a great question. I'd have to sit with it a little bit more, I think.
Do you consume games that you are attending or watching as a fan more, or as a person of faith more?
Well, I think as I've gotten older, Steve, I think the person of faith piece has definitely taken precedence. I am not as fanatical, and I mean, I used to live or die with whatever the team is that I'm rooting for and cheering for. And I think at some point I realized, oh man, I'm getting all worked up because a bunch of 20-year-olds are playing a game and they're not doing it the way I want them to do it. And I think that as I've matured, that's gotten less important to me. And I have started looking for the other lessons in there, watching different things. I'm sure that if you've watched Penn State wrestling, you've seen the difference between the way their coaching staff reacts and almost every other coaching staff in the country reacts, good or bad, when the guy who's supposed to win doesn't win. When the match isn't going the way, they're calm and they're not yelling. Sometimes they'll stand up and you can see they're into it, but they're not losing their cool. I love, that's the kind of stuff that I watch, and that what are they teaching their guys? That's kind of what I'm looking for now as a older consumer of sports. What's going on behind the scenes? I don't know.
Good. With Penn State wrestling, across the board, for the most part, practitioners and happy to proselytize and share their faith. And people love that. Like that, the culture of wrestling, whether it's Penn State or nationally, is very faith based.
Yeah.
Is that helpful for spreading the word? Or what's the balance, do you think, between helpful and spreading the word, or being insular and also feeling like, well, that's wrestling, it's a niche sport, and there's that faith, which is a niche piece of a niche?
I think both are probably true. I think it's helpful, but I think that outside, I grew up in Georgia. 6th grade, my family moved there, and I graduated from college in Georgia. And the only wrestling that I knew was Saturday afternoon on TBS with, the Chief Wahoo McDaniel taking on Jay Strongbow and Mr. Wrestling number 2. And so it wasn't even the same thing. But here in Pennsylvania, like, there is like this culture of wrestling that if the guys up here at this level are saying this is important, I think it translates down. I think that's why we see younger generations of wrestlers coming through and willing to talk about faith, and willing to be interested in a life of faith as well. Um, I don't think it hurts.
No, I just didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
You mentioned
I'm sure that there are skeptics. You know, I'm sure that there are skeptics who look at it and say, yeah, but you know, that kid's probably not, who knows?
yeah. You mentioned your fandom, and I do want to ask about fandom in general because that's a part of sports. For you, is there a difference between religion in sports when with athleticism? So when the guy comes off the mat and says, "I was able to do this because of God," and is there a difference between that and the fan being like, "Oh, I pray and hope that we win"?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. I think that's the wrestler or the athlete that I'd like to coach just a little bit on word choice. Because just like you said, for every Steelers fan who's praying that our team wins this week, there's somebody on Baltimore's side who's
Right.
praying that our team, you know, and I don't think God's in heaven going, well, I'm keeping track. We got 40,000 Steelers. You know, he's not. I don't think he's interested in that at all. So to the kid who says, "Oh, God help me beat that kid in wrestling," whatever I I would say that's probably a poor way of expressing what I think you mean to express. I don't. Yeah, I tell the other in chapel. I tell invariably one of the guys will say, "Hey, I'm in a slump. Will you pray that I get a hit today?" It's like, well, I'll pray that you get a hit today, but you know, the pitcher's mom is also praying that you don't get a hit today. So I don't know if that cancels out.
will you say that
Um,
to them? Will you say it that overtly
oh
to
yeah,
them? Okay.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I pray that, yeah, but I'll tell them, hey, I'm praying that you do your best. I'm praying that you learn what God wants you to learn today. I'm praying that of course, I want all of you guys to succeed, but I also want the other guys because as a chaplain, I do chapel not only for the Spikes but for the visiting team as
Okay.
well. And for the umpires, if they are interested. It's always a knock on the door and introduce myself and say, I'm the chaplain. If you'd like somebody to pray with you before the game, I'd love to do that. And they don't have to say yes, and we respect their wishes. But the visiting teams are just as into chapel as the Spikes are, sometimes more.
Do they do
Um,
it together?
no, we've very rarely done it together because of their schedules. Because we try to find that hole between when they're on the field doing their work and when they come in to get some food before the game. So when one team is on the field taking their reps, I'm usually doing chapel with the other team. Yeah.
Talk Penn State wrestling, talk Penn State Spikes. The biggest national sport is the NFL. The number one pick is going to be Fernando Mendoza, who's very comfortable in his faith, very outspoken in his faith. The Raiders signed Kirk Cousins, right, to mentor him both perhaps as a quarterback and in his faith.
Yeah.
Is there any, and I don't know if this is unfair or not, so I'll just ask it because is there any pressure on, not pressure on religion, but is there how much skin in the game does religion have for Fernando Mendoza to be halfway decent?
Yeah.
Or because if he's not, he's soft and unsuccessful.
Well, it'll probably get spun that way if he's not successful. Um, I think that there is enough history with guys who have not presented themselves as soft and unsuccessful as men of faith that if he's not successful, it's not going to be because of faith. I think at least I would hope that there's a bell curve, right? There's all those people on one end who are just absolutely fanatical, and then there's this group of people on this end who are just absolutely cynical. And well, if he's a Jesus guy, then he's going to be soft, and that's why the Raiders are going to tank, whatever. But I think there are enough sensible people in the middle who will realize that if he doesn't turn out to be the savior of the Raiders, it's not because of faith. It's because he's not that good a football player. I don't know how much pressure he feels, That would be an interesting question to hear him talk about. Yeah.
Just feels present with that situation and others like it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't put together the idea that they're bringing in cousins to mentor him as a man. That's a great.
I mean, maybe that's me, but it
Well,
feels like
yeah.
it's natural.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Once you say it, it's like, well, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. All right, Stacy, we have a couple questions before we say goodbye to you here to wrap up. You are a
right.
Penn Stater, even if it's honorary. Your go-to place in Center County to grab a bite to eat.
Well, would have said we moved out of State College about 4 years ago, so we're in Penns Valley.
Okay.
And for now, it's the Elk Creek Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's craft beer, good wings. My wife loves salads, and they do like farm to table stuff, so that's a win.
And your go-to creamery ice cream flavor.
Ooh, Steve, do you want to tell him that I don't eat ice cream?
I kind of forgot. I thought you were gonna go Meyer Dairy on him, blow his mind. So at least you say that. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's like you and ice cream. That's true.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite dessert?
Yeah, what do you go to? What's your go-to then?
I don't eat sugar.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's I mean, I hate to ruin your question.
No.
If I was gonna eat ice cream, it would be probably what's the Death by Chocolate.
Okay, that's good.
That's a creamery.
Yeah, it's the most popular answer, generally speaking. So,
is that right?
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Okay.
We'll accept it. Okay. Well, Stacy, thank you for joining us. Where can people find you? Any information about your church, anything like that?
I'm part of Calvary. I moved here 28 years ago to be the youth pastor, and they've not been able to get rid of me. I've bounced Calvary's a multi-site church. There's one in Boalsburg, one in Tyrone, one in Lewistown, one in Penns Valley, and one in Bellefonte now. And I've been in lots of different roles in lots of different buildings over the last 28 years. But about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, we moved to Penns Valley, and I became the pastor for the site that meets out here in Millheim.
Well, cool. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Really enjoyed this.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Steve, what I loved is often there are times that I will come up with a question in my head and a guest will answer it a different way than I wanted them to. He answered the fandom versus athleticism question the exact way I wanted to, especially the line about the well, his mom's probably praying that you don't get a hit today. Like I thought that was a really good point, a really funny point. I enjoyed that conversation. I think learned a lot there. Fascinated about the spikes aspect. Never would have thought of that. I thought that in and of itself was very interesting, and I think it was interesting to hear his perspective on post-match or post-game interviews and how sometimes he can find things cringy and how there is a way that he prefers that people go about doing it that isn't over the top or whatever. And I thought that came through there.
Yeah, I mean, somebody else of faith may say, "Oh my gosh, no, he's got to be able to do it this way or that way, or they're doing it the right way." That's why I didn't prep Stacy. I said, "Hey, we're talking about sports and faith. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be fun," and perhaps not surprisingly, I appreciate his outlook. There are some stuff that's cringy. There are some stuff he talked a couple times about stuff making people stronger and developing them. So appreciate him making time, and this is the kind of stuff it's fun for us, fun for me, for us to be able to do this, not just stats and numbers and whatever else.
No,
so yeah,
I think it is. I think it was interesting. Like I said, I think it was interesting to hear like how that is. I think with athletes, we think, oh, they just go to church, right? Like, just like many of the other people, and it's not the case because a lot of times the schedules don't allow for it. And I think it's neat to hear how like the accommodations in the way that Stacy's able to do that. I think that's cool and interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed that. So, good get there from our booking agent.
Thank you, Stace, very much. Yeah. Appreciate
it. We've got some. I don't know that it's news. I guess it's like a piece of news to discuss, but it's the news we've all been waiting for. We can go through, as we kind of do yearly almost at this point, the press release ahead of the confirmation of there will be a blue-white, wait for it, not game, open practice. at 1 p.m. on April 25th inside Beaver Stadium. Excuse me, West Shore home field at Beaver Stadium.
I don't know how you get that wrong anymore. It's
so
on every
sorry.
possible inch of the building.
So sorry. I think the headline, if you will, is the direct language, and let's just quote it. Penn State's blue-white practice presented by Sheets is set for April 25th, and Penn State athletics has a full slate of activities planned for fans of all ages. This year's event will feature an open practice format. Are you okay? Are you upset? Is anybody upset about this? Has it been anything other than that over the last umpteen years? Now they're just being honest with you. I think that's all this is.
No, I think that's true. But what's not going to happen is, well, we don't know yet. I guess I'd be surprised. Well, maybe I won't be surprised. Is somebody going to pick it up and televise it?
It's you know what? Here's my free idea for the day. Why don't you charge $2 on Roar Plus? Stream it. Get some college kids to do it. I'm sure we can. But no, I don't think BTN is going to pick it up. I don't.
First year coach.
How are you going to narrate that? What's the storyline there? Like, I mean, yes, and those things have generally always just been infomercials for both the athletic department and the football team in and of itself. But there's not, if they're going to do drill-based practice, no even 7-on-7 or anything like that, I don't think that that's made for TV. But I do think that's an opportunity to go maybe get some NIL revenue for people who are real divers.
I think hadn't thought about it till now. I mean, I had thought about it, I guess, a little bit today. I think that'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I mean, I'm okay with no availability at all. Like, this is a throwback. It's a practice. It's a glorified opening day event. Something. I mean, I think the people who need the most practice is coming over in the blue buses, learning what it's about, letting them experience 40,000 or 50,000 people in the place, as opposed to what they would have had for a spring game at Iowa State. Now, I mean, again, not to dismiss them, but it's going to be a little different. But if they were organized, it just feels like it would take another level of organization from whoever it is that's directing and producing the show to get the football staff to like play along, and that might not be something they want to do for an hour's worth of exposure because they've gotten enough already. I mean, they've touched all the right buttons for the most part, it feels like, so far, with the old players and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
I think I also think, like, because I haven't been to a blue-white game in a couple years now. And like the couple that have watched, like, there's not a lot going on there on TV. Not a lot that, like, I'm getting more context from the beat and what the beat writes and what comes out of that than I am from me following along or me watching it on TV, especially now that we're all addicted to our cell phones. Like, and it's background noise, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't have a healthy quarterback on the roster that's going to matter in the fall. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's so probably not, I guess, but I don't know. We'll see.
I do think I want to give flowers where flowers are due. It seems like Penn State has come up with something new, this Friday Kids Combine, which it sounds like you can sign your kid up for it. It says a high energy, family friendly event for an unforgettable evening of fun, learning, and blue and white pride. Kids will rotate through a series of age appropriate football stations led by Penn State football student athletes. Now, there is a cost to it. I understand why there's probably a cost to it because the NIL thing. But you know what? We have implored them to come up with a creative idea. This feels semi-creative.
Did you click on the ticket to see how much it cost?
$34.
So was that good price?
I don't know. I don't know how much is a sports clinic cost.
Yeah, I have no idea. It seemed like a weird number to me.
That's
like,
a weird
why
number.
It wasn't 30 or 35 or something. Like 34 just seemed oddly specific. So
maybe it's to honor Franco.
Maybe. I mean, I think you're right. It's a new idea. It's something different. It's for the hotel people. It's got to be great. I mean, it's gonna maybe bring in some people who are not just day drivers. They're going to come up the day before. Maybe they're going to get a hotel or an Airbnb and let their kids do that and have the Friday night in there and then maybe Saturday night after. At least Friday night, if not Saturday night. So I think that's nice from a town and gown perspective. So yeah, I think, yeah.
And then there are extended hours at the All Sports Museum, which I think is always a plus. And I don't think that's been fully open to. I mean, it had
for a while.
It was kind of closed there for a little bit because of the construction, I think. Somebody can fact check us on that. And then let's see what else.
Swag sale.
And then, of course, yes, there is the equipment and apparel sale. So I might send Steve over to see what
those people were in line early. Those people were like me tailgating during the regular season. They are in line at Pagula at 30. Gosh bless them. God bless them.
We have one. We have one person in our friend group who has spent. I would anticipate north of $1,000 over the course of the last few years at those sales.
Okay.
So,
but if you're getting stuff you like and want, this year it should be big. I mean, I think there'll be a push on that. Whether there's a media outlet for the game might still be to come. I think there'll be a push on the swag sale because of the Nike stuff.
This might be the last. This might legitimately be the last time you can buy Nike stuff.
Well, they got rid of the football stuff that's on their bodies for the spring game. There's got to be one more at least, unless the guys are keeping them. Right. But yeah, there should be a big Nikes out the door kind of push, I would think.
So, autograph session also back.
Free autograph session.
Yeah, free autograph session. So
there you go.
Always good. And parking isn't generally a reasonable price. $20 and $30. So, that's about it. That's about all the interesting things we have to say as it relates to the blue-white game. We will have thoughts a little bit closer in later season. All right, what do you got for me? You said you printed something out.
You said that I printed out, forgot to bring it, so I had to go back to the actual file. Okay. But fourth quarter flags existence since 2024, 2 seasons, correct?
Yeah, I believe.
I went back and checked the fourth quarter flags record. Like Penn State's record in fourth quarters, outscoring opponents or not outscoring opponents. There have been 15 games at Beaver Stadium in that time. Okay. What do you suppose Penn State's fourth quarter record is?
Sorry, can we define fourth quarter record here? Is that
whether or not they've outscored the opponent in the fourth quarter itself?
Okay.
Did they win the fourth quarter?
Did they? I'm going to go with, you said 15 games?
Yep.
10-5.
Oh, 10-4-1. Look at you. Because you can tie in the fourth quarter, right?
Right, sure.
So they're 10-4-1 in the fourth quarter. And of the 4 losses, they actually won 2 of those games. So they're like 12-2-1 in the past 2 years at home. So, but the fourth quarter is winning record-wise. Nobody likes the stinking flag. Well, nobody in this podcast likes the stinking flag, but they've been shut out once in the fourth quarter in the past 2 years, and that was by Ohio State. Was that home? Let me see. That was home in 2024, right?
Yeah. Sounds right. Yeah.
That was the only time they've been shut out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they've been outscored. I was really bored. They've been outscored. The most points scored against them was 9 by Northwestern. Nevada and UCLA both scored 8 against them in the fourth quarter. So there you go. There's all your fourth quarter flag stats.
Can I go on the record and say right now, I'm giving our first early 2026 football season prediction. I don't think the flag will be back in 2026.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ear or Leah Beasley's ear, whoever it is that controls that.
I don't think it will be back. I just don't.
Then you know what you'd have at your tailgate? A collector's item. Maybe, wouldn't it be great if the real one were for sale at the equipment sale? There you go. There's our next big idea. Sell that sucker at the equipment sale.
Here's the deal. I did not buy the 1-0 banner. I forgot to set an alarm to remind me that auction was ending.
What did it go for?
I was keeping a hawk eye on it. It went for $202.50. I gladly would have paid $250 for that banner and an uncomfortable conversation with my wife about the fact that
it would have taken up a whole wall in the house. It would have been great.
I don't know what I would have done with it. We might never even have, we just never put it out anywhere. It just might have been gone up out in the garage, thrown into a corner. But I am so upset that I forgot to to buy it because I think it would have been worth it. That being said, this exact conversation came up about the fourth quarter flag. I would go bankrupt to buy the fourth quarter flag. I want it, and I want to preserve it, but I want to be the one that is that whatever the demise is of the flag. And we would open it up to the community, of course. I would want to make sure that we do it properly. That's all, and I wouldn't want anybody else.
We could just institute a Stuff Summer Says fourth quarter shindig, right? That we just use to fly the flag at.
Can I go get our fake flag? Or
go get the flag. We'll play some music here. Probably fight song music in this little interim here. Could have a little marching, people dancing around.
Okay, so if you're not watching, you should be watching. I do want to make it very clear, Steve. These flags, of course, like first off, looks great. It's a one of one replica.
Did you send in a drawing of the fourth quarter? Like, how did you?
Oh no,
design it.
I just
took a picture of that one.
I used the picture and then I just found the font that matched it. And
Yep.
I do want to make it clear we would apply the Stuff Summer Says logo, which was on the fourth quarter flag. Not in the detailed shots on the video, but here now.
Nice.
So, talk about
very
branding.
cool.
So, you people missed out. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's about it. Big reminder for the week. Hall of Fame. Thank you to everybody that submitted or dropped off some nominations. We'll keep counting those until the next podcast, which will be next week. And then next week, we will open up the voting with the field, the broader field. No, I don't think anybody's, of what I recall of the list and what I've seen of the submissions, I don't know that there's any new names in there per se. But it's good to kind of, there are a couple of names that are kind of hanging out at the bottom that might need some tiebreakers type thing.
Okay.
So. Please keep submitting those, and then once we get to the vote portion, we will ask you to vote and vote often. Old guy, young guy. You
I'm curious if you shouldn't litter when you're driving. Shouldn't throw things out your window. I'm curious if an eaten apple, the core of the apple, is littering.
This is like we should take this. We should call a philosophy or professor up.
I don't know, it's probably call a state trooper up or something, but I didn't. Is it like it's biodegradable? Could get eaten by a deer.
If
I know somebody who did that, I got an idea that the deer is going to eat it more than something bad's going to happen to it.
It just bothers me, and also why put the deer in the bad situation? I know
if you're going to throw it, you need it on the side of the road, not the median, because the deer is going to cross and get. But I just didn't know.
As somebody that almost hit a robin the other day because it was eating a French fry off the street, I was like, I don't know.
Did you slow down? Did you swerve?
I had to swerve because this robin would not get out of the way. I was going fishing. It was on like a semi-country road. It was eating what appeared to be a French fry off the road, and it just didn't want to move.
Did it not move at all?
It eventually moved, but I had to both swerve and slow down to allow the robin to vacate the area. I would never do it just because it would feel like littering. It's like when I throw, like, I feel like everybody does this. We've got our shed, and like in between the fence and the shed is like a gap of like maybe about 2 feet, and it's enough that you can, if you've got some dirt that you're cleaning out of the garden or whatever, you just sling it back there. Like it's not wrong. It's all going to the same place, but it feels wrong.
Okay, that's why I'm asking. Didn't know.
So I would say, to answer, I wouldn't do it. I don't know if it's wrong.
Okay, there we go. You can chime in with your philosophical answers if you're still listening at this point. Or your real answers. God forbid you're a member of law enforcement. You can say, nope, it's definitely wrong. And we'll know.
That'd be interesting. That's a thinker. Okay. That's this week's podcast. We bring you philosophy, religion, sports, arts, So
Football practice information, it's all here.
Where else are you getting this? Our podcast. Thank you to Stacy for joining us. Thought that was a great conversation. Really enjoyed that. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna write this week, but I might do some random thoughts. Just because but I might write about Kelly Mazzani. I haven't quite decided yet. I think there's a couple things I want to write about this week, so we'll see. We've got that. Steve might have something. If and when one of us writes something, or if you want to go vote for the Hall or submit your nominations
Definitely for the Hall of Fame. Yep.
Hall of Fame. That website is stuffsummersays.com. On that website, there's a section called With Steve. 5 stars, thumbs up. Appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. Very helpful. After that, we've got emails. Mine's Darian at stuffsummersays.com. Steve's is
Steve at stuffsummersays.com.
Perfect. To the guy that emailed me last week asking about piano lessons, we do not offer those. So sorry.
That's what you got? Really?
I texted you about this. Did it not go through?
I was confused. Okay, now
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why we got. Sorry that we do not offer piano lessons. And then lastly, you can find me on the internet at Stuff Summer Says. You can find Steve
at Steve Samsel.
See ya. Bye.